Hey guys. How you doing today? I'm tired. The last 48 hours has been interesting. But nevertheless, I felt a message calling me that I wanted to share today. So here we are. So my goal, my aim as a teacher, a coach, a counselor, is not for anybody ever to listen to me. It's to give them the tools to listen to themselves. And so I was listening to this Q&A and somebody asked some questions, and I have this happen a lot where people will quite literally ask me questions that they could just be asking themselves. We have this tendency as human beings to want to get our answers, our direction for what we should be doing from a perceived authority, when in fact we should be the perceived authority on this particular topic. And that's not to say that we shouldn't ever seek someone else's advice or look to some sort of perceived authority when it comes to getting information. But as I've explained, there's a difference between information, knowledge, and wisdom. So for me personally, I ditched the tarot cards a long time ago. The only reason why I use my Caro Andean Healing Oracle cards for the bi-monthly energy updates on Patreon is because I like to sort of use them as a way to keep myself up on my Caro practice, because it's cold in here. Because I am not in my group settings like I used to be, getting to learn from my teacher. So that helps me sort of stay up, stay practiced with that particular tradition, because I am newer to it in comparison to other things I've experienced in my life, practiced in my life. But I threw out the tarot cards a long time ago. I stopped seeking other people's advice on what I should be doing a long time ago when it comes to my life as a whole. And so that's what the intuitive lifestyle course that I have is really designed to do, is to help you learn to trust yourself by learning who you are, so that you can know that at any given time you can, faced with any situation, come out the other side unscathed, because you have the tools to get yourself through it. Even if that means knowing when to ask questions and get advice or help from a perceived authority in that particular circumstance. So I loved this idea of, throw out your tarot cards, stop going to psychics, and tune in to your intuition that came up today. This sort of message that came up today, because in the long run, we all have our connection to God, source, spirit, cosmic consciousness. And we can all tune in and answer these questions for ourselves. And end up being better off for it. Because we know what our values are, we know what our priorities are, we know what our boundaries need to be. Because we know what our belief system is. because we've actually stopped to chew on it. And so, yeah, I always find it interesting because we have this tendency to ask people questions that if we just turn those questions around on ourselves and asked ourselves the question, like one of them was something like, how do I know, like, actually, it was interesting because I just talked about this yesterday, and it was the same question coming from somebody else's Q&A. It wasn't even the teacher that I got this question from, which was, how do I know when I'm connected to the spiritual energy, the cosmic consciousness, the source energy? How do I know when I'm connected to God? And rather than having somebody else tell you how you know, turn that inwards and ask yourself, how do I know? How do I know? How would I know? And just sit with it for a little bit. It's a perfect opportunity to do some journaling, do some meditating, and just turn that question around on yourself rather than directing it towards a perceived authority to answer for you. How do I know? How do I do this? Because our higher selves, that spirit part of us having this temporary human experience, can answer that question. Now, if you have a question like, how do I fix a car? You might want to go get a manual or seek a mechanic's help. But when it comes down to, how do I know when my boundaries are being walked over? I don't know. How do you know? I mean, I could answer that question for you, but that's a question you should be asking yourself. Because your boundaries, first of all, are going to be your boundaries. They might be different than somebody else's boundaries. And then you would ask yourself, how do I know? When is it that I feel like my boundaries are being crossed? So the next time you find yourself asking or wanting to ask a question to someone that you perceive knows more than you on a particular subject matter, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's my point and purpose in life, is to ask questions and have people ask me questions. But that said, like I started this, my goal as a teacher, counselor, coach is never to teach people how to be like me, how to listen to me. My goal is to teach people how to listen to themselves. And so one of my proudest moments being someone that helps other people is when they don't need my help anymore, or don't need my help as often as they did. When people graduate needing my help, when my clients stop needing my help, no matter how long they've been seeing me for, oh, it's the best feeling in the world to have someone walk away from me feeling confident in themselves enough to not feel like they need my help learning the tools anymore. If you really want to start to learn how to tune in and allow yourself to be your own perceived authority, I highly recommend my intuitive lifestyle course that is on Patreon, because you have the answers inside of you. And the more you learn to know yourself, the more you will trust yourself and your ability to be your own perceived authority. So So yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Oh, that was something else that came up while I was thinking about this before I was able to sit down and film, was that this is also why I call in clients who are ready, because sometimes we won't be ready. Sometimes we get ourselves in this position where we don't know ourselves well enough to trust ourselves, and therefore won't be ready. Won't be ready to take our own advice, and won't be ready to even take someone else's advice on how we can take our own advice. I believe it's A Course in Miracles that calls it unhelpable, calls that kind of person unhelpable. And, they're only unhelpable in the moment. Eventually they can get themselves to a place where they are helpable. Recognizing what level you're at the time is really useful, because if you try to take on anything when you're not ready to take it in, you're wasting your time and possibly someone else's time. So this is why I am very clear about the fact that I am calling in clients who are ready, They know they're ready. They've got that fire and that drive in themselves because they've been excited by the idea, or they're fed up with something else, the situation they're in. We can find ourselves on either side of that polarity with that drive to change because you're ready and excited to change, or that drive to change because you're fed up with the way things used to be, excited about the future, tired of the past. Either one can get you to moving forward to better, but you've got to have one or the other, because if you don't, then you find yourself complacently comfortable in the discomfort, complacently used to the discomfort in a way in which doesn't propel you to do the things you need to do to make the changes you need to change. So that's why I've made it very clear with the universe, and in my messaging as much as possible out to potential clients, that I'm ready to work with people who are ready. It is one of the best feelings in the world to be introduced to somebody with that fire inside of them, ready to learn how to trust themselves enough to be able to really listen to that intuition, even if just for themselves. Whoops. So, yeah. Thank you guys for joining me for another video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Like button stuff. Don't forget to check out the links in the description. I have my Patreon. If you're enjoying my content here, you will definitely enjoy everything I have to offer on Patreon. I have 4 membership tiers available, starting at $11.11 a month, going all the way up to $133 a month, and everything in between. If you sign up for my second membership tier, the ascending tier, that gets you literally pretty much everything that gets you basically everything my Patreon has to offer for just $23 a month. That's the ascending tier. I have the awakening tier, which is like, Balanced Blackwood Tribe Light, where I have one-off videos. Then I have the ascending tier, which gives you everything. Oh, sorry, hold on. So awakening tier, one-off videos, journal exercises, guided meditations, bunch of amazing stuff. Then I have the ascending tier, which gives you access to everything the awakening tier has to offer, plus courses, workshops, a bunch of other journal exercises, guided meditations. Then I have the Sanctuary, which is the ascending tier, everything the ascending tier and the awakening tier has to offer, plus the Sanctuary content. And then I have the enlightening tier, which has everything the ascending and awakening tier has to offer, plus a once a month session with me, one-on-one, and access to direct messaging through Voxer, because everyone that I work with one-on-one in any capacity gets access to asking me questions in between sessions via this app called Voxer. If you know you're really, really ready, then you can sign up for working with me one-on-one, either through just signing up for the package of your choice. I do have some information I need to update on my website, because my packages, I do have like set, how would I put that? I do have a set program that we can do within those packages. They can also just be free flow, working on whatever you want to do. So I have a package where you commit to 4 sessions, and then you can pay per session after that. But I do require, for anybody who works with me, even if you're paying per session, to commit to 4 sessions in the beginning, because you got to be ready. You got to be ready to make that commitment, or that commitment shows me that you're ready. Really, that's my one barrier to entry for all of my clients, is to show me you're ready via the commitment that you make. So if you want to pay per session, if that is where you're at financially, there is a commitment of 4 sessions for the minimum, and then you can pay per session after that. I also have my 3-month package, which that gets you 3 months of working with me one-on-one. It's usually a session a month, sorry. That's not right. It's usually a session a week, but you can also do 2 sessions a week. So it's set up as a 3-month package, but I believe that one is, what's the math on that one? 12, 13. And then I have my 6-month package, which has a pay in full and a payment plan option, where you can pay in full or you can pay half now and half later. All of my packages have amazing little freebies that you get. My 3-month package has an oil, custom-made oil blend for whatever you want, made by me for you. I have my 6-month payment plan, which also gets you that free oil blend, custom made. And then my 6-month pay in full comes with a beautiful handmade, custom made journal and the 3 sessions to custom make it if you so choose to take them. My business partner and fellow doTERRA witch, Jess, is Mountain Bound Books, and she makes these beautiful handmade, custom-made blank books. I'll show you. And so for those who make the commitment to my 6-month pay in full package for one-on-one sessions, this one's mine. It comes with this little red bungee to hold it closed. You have this beautiful, beautiful paper. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's got such amazing energy. So anyone who signs up for my 6-month pay in full package will get your very own 3 sessions to custom make your own Mountain Bound book with Jess. for free just by signing up for my 6-month pay in full option. So yeah. Other than that, there are other links in the description, like my mailing list. I will be putting that survey out in a couple of days. So if you would like to help me figure out what I'm doing next from here, you should definitely sign up for my mailing list. I only do 1 email a month at the most, and sometimes I don't even do that because I only come at you with the latest and greatest updates. So if I don't have any, if nothing's new, you're not going to hear from me. And yeah. What else? Instagram, doTERRA Witches, doTERRA. If you like to live clean, green, and sustainably, doTERRA is your one-stop shop to take all of that chemically processed crap out of your house and replace it with beautiful, amazing plant medicine. Whether you're like me and like to mix your own, they have all the essential oils, or they have pre-made amazing products curated from their essential oils that they source themselves. Most pure plant medicine I have ever been blessed to be in contact with. Which is why I decided to actually be a doTERRA wellness advocate. So yeah, as always, may the energies you serve you well, and let's keep making our way through.